Good evening and welcome to Legal Talk, the talk show brought to you by the law offices of O'Donnell, Weiss, and Megay. We're at 41 High Street in Pottstown. We're at 347 Bridge Street in Phoenixville. Our website is www.owmlaw.com. Your life, your business, your law firm. Thanks for joining us tonight. My name's David Megay, and I'm one of the attorneys at the law firm. And tonight, I'm joined all the way over to my left with another one of our attorneys, Jim Kovaleski. Jim, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, Dave.
And folks, tonight you're in for a treat. We're going to talk all night, at least for the next half hour, guys, about Phoenixville, the Phoenixville region, the borough of Phoenixville, and the state of the economy, if you will, in Phoenixville. What Phoenixville has to offer for you folks as for retail business, as well as you folks out there who are operating your businesses, running your businesses, and thinking about opening businesses in the greater Phoenixville area. So please stay tuned, take some notes, because Jim and I tonight are joined to my immediate left by Jessica Capistrant. Jessica, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Jessica is the executive director of the Phoenixville, now remind me of that, Phoenixville Regional Chamber of Commerce. So folks, tonight Jessica is going to talk to us about what the Chamber has to offer to you folks as business owners and business operators. So stay tuned for that. And to Jessica's left, Jim's right, is Gene Krack. Gene, thanks for joining us tonight as well. Gene's the borough manager or manager for the borough of Phoenixville, and Gene's going to talk to us about some of the construction projects and the interesting things that are going on in Phoenixville right now. In fact, Jim, let's start with Gene. First half of the show, let's talk about the borough of Phoenixville. Gene, give us an idea. Now, we're taping the show, by the way, folks, in September of 2015. So if anyone has driven through Phoenixville, driven around Phoenixville, heck, driven near Phoenixville over the last year-ish, 2 years, you've seen a lot of activity. Gene, give us an idea. Maybe kind of walk us from the bridge. I guess that would be what, southwest, the bridge toward our office.
Sure.
On Bridge Street. Give us an idea of what's happening.
Well, we've got a lot of activity, Dave, from the Schuylkill River actually going westward along Bridge Street. We've got quite a bit of development in what I'll call the 100 block of the borough, which is currently we're about ready to open one of the first projects. It's about a $60 million project. Mm-hmm. It's a 400 linear feet along Bridge Street, and then it takes up a lot of area behind it. But about 20,000 square feet of new retail space, about 275 luxury apartments, and then there's still room for 30,000 square feet of office space. And then directly across the French Creek behind that is another project of about another $60 million project of 360 apartment complexes. Again, mm-hmm. Luxury. What that is?
And by luxury, you mean what? You mean higher end apartments, higher rents?
Right. There's a phenomenon that's occurring across the United States where folks are looking towards real estate from a different perspective because of the mobility of a lot of the high-end tech jobs.
Okay.
It's not your grandfather's gold watch retirement movement anymore. It's people that may be here for 5 years working for a GlaxoSmithKline or a Vanguard or somebody like that, and then they move to the next municipality or the next location.
Okay.
They need to be able to do that.
Okay.
But they want the luxury of the home, and so the development community has figured that out quite quickly. That this is the next wave of livability. Mm-hmm.
So these are all rental units.
These are all rental units.
No ownership, no fee simple, we call it. Okay.
That's correct. They come contained with in most of these contained with the environs of workout facilities, parking. All of the amenities that you would think that people would want, all in one central location, and quite frankly, right in the heart of our downtown. Together, these projects are going to bring 625 units of high-end residential, one block off of the main street in the downtown, That's going to drive our retail activity quite handsomely.
Now, Jessica, that's right near your office, I guess. It's right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's right near your office on Bridge Street. Gene, is there going to be retail space on the first floor?
Yes, about
Okay.
about 20,000 square feet. It's devised right now into what they call retail 1 through retail 5.
Yeah, well, I don't know what that. What is that?
That's just their name for it. One may be 2,000 square feet, and one may be 7,000
Okay.
square feet.
Okay.
So they're looking at different size markets for different activities.
And I'm guessing that retail space is going pretty quickly.
Quite frankly, they have not communicated that to me at least. I'm
Okay.
not sure about Jess here, but they've sort of been holding that one a little close to the vest.
I would think that any of our business viewers out there, viewers who are thinking about relocating some of their retail space, better jump on the phone to Jessica the next couple of days and get a tour of that that retail space, because it's going to go quickly with all those families coming in.
And I might emphasize that this is not mall type of retail. This is boutique type of retail. So there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are looking for that next thing. They have an idea. They might want to sell a certain type of product, a certain type of craft, what have you. This is ideal for those folks.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, give us a call, give the owners a call, because first in gets the best prices.
Right, right. And shout out to Manny DeMutis, who helped spearheading that project there.
Correct.
At least the project along Bridge Street.
Correct.
And who's spearheading the project behind?
That is now being managed by the Toll Brothers Corporation.
Toll Brothers,
It's
okay.
their commercial side. Everybody thinks of Toll Brothers as the big houses and what have you, but they actually have a rather significant commercial side, which is apartment driven.
Okay. All right, well, take us a little bit further west, I guess it would be, a bridge back or down toward our office.
Well, we've just recently opened the Schuylkill River Trail as an adjunct to what I've just described here, which takes it westward, right through the heart of these two projects, actually, and then out west, and then up and over towards Spring City, up ultimately here to Pottstown, and then out, inevitably out to Reading. But we've got another 37 acres of prime real estate right behind your offices and my offices, because we're co-joined as a building. That project is bubbling up at this point in time. I can't really get into exactly what it is yet, but I've seen some concepts by the developer. And then further west, we have some more opportunity that is kind of expressing ideas as to what it might be and what it might not be. I really don't want to get into that one, but there could be a lot of retail and apartments over commercial in that area as well. So potentially, from a livability, from an activity-centered municipality, the borough of Phoenixville is I'm going to say out of 960 boroughs, it's probably in the top 10 as far as growth, as far as opportunities for retail, as far as livability. We're in a prime location.
Yeah, absolutely we are. And again, our business viewers need to remember that Phoenixville is the place to be, and they need to get up off the chair and get downtown and start shopping retail space, because it's going to go quickly.
Yes.
It's going to go quickly. Now, Gene, along with that development comes parking and traffic problems.
Hello.
Yeah, and I almost didn't want to raise it, but you
That's
know
fine.
what? It's the elephant in the room. So what's the borough, and Jim, not only folks is Jim a very important member of our law firm, but also a very important member of Borough Council. He happens to serve as Borough Council president. What's happening with parking and transportation, just in a nutshell, other than we're trying?
Well, again, we had committee meetings last night. I know Jim was at one of the meetings, but we had an economic development, and then we had a policy committee. We're starting to get some ground with the members of council, recognizing that, maybe it's time that we pursue a feasibility study. When you look at the borough, we're not the county seat. We're not like a Westchester. We're not a Norristown. So we don't have that. Currently, we don't have that daytime traffic to drive something like a parking garage, but it is a necessity. There's really, when you look at the linear space of the borough of Phoenixville, we need about, at this point in time, as best as I can tell, 450 car parking garage. And that will basically take care of what we have to offer in the borough. If we can do that and we can pull that together, we've accomplished everything that you would want to do in the borough, with the exception, and that's the other elephant in the room, accessibility in and out. That's hard to deal with.
Traffic, right.
But people figure that out. They can get past that if there's parking.
That's a good point, yeah. They can get past the traffic issues if they know when they arrive downtown,
they've got a place.
they have a place to park. I didn't think that we, meaning the borough, is okay with, or we are okay with parking, daytime parking. It's the evening crowd that needs the parking.
Absolutely. And I think short of the parking garage, Borough Council and staff are taking steps as far as getting an application to be able to access our meters that way and pay for our meters that way. So we're doing things, we're listening to what the concerns are out there, and while we're trying to achieve that big goal of a parking garage, in the interim, we're also doing things to try and make the parking better. I think that would be a fair assessment of where we are today.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I want the viewer, I raised that issue because I wanted the viewers to, especially those who've been to Phoenixville, to hear the borough manager and the borough council president, to hear that you guys talk about the fact that you guys aren't putting your head in the sand. It's an issue. You're dealing with the issue. You're not just ignoring it.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah. All right, Gene, in about 2 minutes that we have before we take a break, and then this folks' second half of the show, we'll talk with Phoenixville Chamber Executive Director about events and what the Chamber can do for you folks as business operators to help grow your business. But Gene, give us an idea of, throw some numbers at us about what's been happening with the borough over the last 10 years with population growth, income levels, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. I'll start with the fact that nothing happens without support, and in this instance, it's really taking a three-legged stool, if you will, of a dedicated staff, a dedicated political climate, and a dedicated business climate. Those three things have to all come together at the same time. They have done that since 2004 to the degree that, as I sit here today, our population base has risen 12%. We went from 14,000 and change to almost 17,000, and that's before these new apartments come online.
Oh yeah, I figured that. Yeah.
Our assessed valuation has risen $200 million in that same time frame.
And by that you mean property tax values.
Property tax values.
Or excuse me, property values. Not
property values,
tax,
and that's the assessed valuation. That's not the true valuation.
Gotcha.
The assessed valuation is always lesser, but that's risen 23% in that 10-year time frame. A lot of activity, and again, that's before everything that I've just talked about.
That's reason enough for people, our viewers, to get down there and buy some real estate in Phoenixville.
Absolutely.
Wow, it sounds like a good investment right there. 23% over what kind of a time period?
Over 10 years.
Wow, sounds like a good investment.
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. Well, we're running up against the clock, and we want to preserve the second half for Jessica to talk about Chamber of Commerce, not issues, but projects and events. Gene, thank you very much. Thanks for everything you've done. You've been a borough manager for...
I'm in my 8th year.
8th year. Feels like 18?
No, it feels like 7.
Maybe it feels like 7. That's a good positive response. Okay, folks, you've been watching Legal Talk, the talk show brought to you by your law firm, Your Life, Your Business, Your Law Firm, O'Donnell, Weiss, and Megay Law Offices. We're at 347 Bridge Street in Phoenixville, and we're here in the borough of Pottstown. We're going to do a show about the borough of Pottstown, I believe, next month, Jim. I think it is.
Yes.
We're at 41 High Street in Pottstown. We're at owmlaw.com. Please stay tuned. Second half of the show, Jessica Capistrant, Phoenixville Regional Chamber of Commerce Executive Director. Thank you. Stay tuned.
How would you build the perfect bank? Would you put it close to your home or your work? Would you make it a high-tech wonderland with web banking and 24-hour access? Or a hometown bank with tellers who know your name? If you could build your perfect bank, it might look a lot like National Penn Bank. Convenient branch and ATM locations, innovative technologies for 24-hour access, attentive personal service, and free checking with no minimum balance or monthly account fees. It's all right here at National Penn Bank.
There are many reasons people join AAA and renew their membership year after year. In addition to the peace of mind of emergency roadside service, AAA membership includes expert travel planning, exclusive discounts, and more. AAA members also get exclusive Show Your Card and Save discounts at participating retail merchants and can save money on theme park tickets, luggage, and travel accessories at the East Penn Travel Store. Join today and start taking advantage of all AAA East Penn has to offer. And visit us on the web at www.aaa.com.
Welcome back to Legal Talk, the talk show brought to you by the law offices of O'Donnell, Weiss & Matei, your life, your business, your law firm, www.owmlaw.com. We're at 41 High Street, where we've been for over 60 years now, actually, and 347 Bridge Street, where Jessica, we've been for 10 years, 10 and a half years already. Dave Megay, attorney with the office, Jim Kovaleski, attorney with the office, and if you're just joining in, Jim and I are joined tonight by Krack, Borough Manager, and Jessica Capistrant, Executive Director for the Phoenixville Regional Chamber of Commerce. First half of the show, we talked about different projects going on in the borough. We're now going to turn it over to Jessica, and let's talk about, well, first, how long have you been with the Chamber?
It will be 5 years in February coming up, so 4.5, 5 years.
So almost 5 years, and we're taping the show, folks, in September of 2015. Jessica, during the break, the four of us talked about that it's not just the borough, and it's not just the Chamber of Commerce, but there's some other agencies that are helping coordinate and grow this borough.
Sure. So I think that one key thing, leaning much towards Jean's comment about it being sort of a three-legged stool, and how important it is that everybody is working together. As many people may know, Phoenixville's revival, I guess, kind of happened in phases, but really in 2004, around that time period, we were lucky to have a Main Street manager. We were lucky to have grant money dedicated to making those corrections, but what happens when that goes away?
Right.
In many communities, it could revert back. In many communities, it, at least could maybe take a different turn. But in ours, we wanted to see the growth
or just plain
continue.
old stall.
Right.
Just plain old stall, right. and just kind of spin and not make any progress.
Right. So the chairman of our board at the time was Fred Hubler, had a meeting with Jean and a few other people about kind of bringing together this organization that's known now as Phoenixville First. And that is comprised of the borough, the chamber, the Downtown Business Association, which is Phoenixville Area Business Association, or PABA.
P-A-B-A. Okay.
And also PEDCO, which is the Economic Development Corporation. As well as now we've incorporated a few other groups or people either throughout the course of the year related to events or sort of their placement in the community. So, for example, the Jaycees or the Colonial Theater.
Yeah.
We have members of their leadership also on
Right.
board. And what that's really done is create a leadership culture that's unlike anything else in the community.
Yeah, because it sounds to me the more moving parts you have, the less chance that this machine's going to move forward.
Sure, or things fall through the cracks.
Or if things fall through the crack. Or worse, there's infighting and
Yes.
pride of ownership and ego, but we
Right.
don't have that.
We don't. It doesn't really exist in that group. We sort of, and I'm sure, much like any organizations, you may not agree on all things, but we wanted to make sure that we focused on creating a comprehensive marketing program for the borough.
Okay.
So the chamber is a regional entity. We represent businesses through King of Prussia, Valley Forge, Oaks, all the way out in Springford area.
I hate to get you off track, but let's talk about that because we emphasize regional, and I want our viewers to understand that just because your business is not located at Bridge and Main, that's okay because you reach out to how far? Say north, up 29.
Yeah, so we have members in Collegeville, even a few in Lansdale historically.
Lansdale, really?
As
Okay.
far as that. Really, ultimately, though, what we say is that if you're interested in doing business, conducting business in some way in Phoenixville, then you should consider being a part of that chamber, same as any other community.
Even if
really.
you're located in Spring City, Roarsford,
Sure.
Kimberton.
Yeah, if you're looking to draw from the Phoenixville community, members to your location, or if you're just particularly interested in what's happening in that area and you want to be involved, then definitely joining the chamber is a good idea for sure.
Okay, now I threw you off track, and you probably
no
lost
problem.
your train of thought.
No,
You were talking about Petco, PABA, the chamber, and then the synergy that goes on.
Right. Yeah. So while we're regional, we are in the downtown of Phoenixville, and so we, think that's a treat, and we definitely want to make sure that we're involved in what's happening in our literal backyard. And so we're happy to, spend the time and get the people to support the things that Phoenixville First does. And ultimately, it's what's great about it is everybody has the same messaging. Everybody's on the same page.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that helps with us getting events executed. Our primary goals largely are events, and just making sure that, again, we're putting out the same types of information. If somebody comes to me with a question about the borough or parking, I at least have an educated answer and have somebody to connect them to.
That's a great point.
Yeah, those are all good things for us.
Yeah, that's a great point. It would be a turnoff if a business called you, the Chamber of Commerce, and said, "What about parking?" I don't know. That's borough's problem. How about you do know what the issue is,
right?
And you do know what's happening because what do you meet monthly or more than that?
So we meet monthly in person.
Right.
I think we probably meet far more often over phones and emails. Certainly throughout the month, it does take up a fair amount of everybody's time to make sure that we're focused on, again, being collaborative and consistent. That's the really big thing for us too.
Okay. Well, in the 5 or so minutes that we have, give us an idea of some of the events that the chamber helps coordinate in the Pottstown area to help bring people in, bring businesses in, and bring dollars into the borough.
Sure. To the Phoenixville
Yes.
Phoenixville Borough. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we, again, as a regional organization, will host events throughout any of the businesses within our membership, but specifically related to networking, it would involve after-hours mixers, which are essentially light fare events that you can exchange cards and get to know other people, much like a standard business card exchange.
I've been to mixers on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, not only downtown Phoenixville, where we can walk from our office. Been to them in Oaks, been to them in Collegeville, been to them in Kimberton, Spring City, maybe Roarsford, I think. So again, it's not just the borough of Phoenixville, it's the region.
Yeah, it's less of a limiting factor that way too. And again, if we can help businesses, the goals of these events are that businesses grow their network. So I always mention to people, it's not just about networking yourself, and you may not be able to get somebody to purchase your product after meeting them one time. But if that also makes you a better resource through the education of the chamber events, through meeting people at chamber events, makes you a better resource also to your clients. And I think that's something that goes under the radar for a lot of people. They don't look at it that way.
Right.
But that's definitely a true thing.
Okay.
And we also host, anywhere from 3 to 7 networking events a month, so you have multiple opportunities to come out.
I'll say.
But we have the biggest meeting of the month is our monthly membership meeting, which is always held on the second Tuesday of every month.
What time of day is that?
That can either be a breakfast meeting, 7:15 to 9, or a luncheon, which is 11:30 to 1 p.m., and it varies through the course of the year where we are.
And do you pick different spots around town?
We do. Everything's within about 3 square miles of our office in the downtown, but we've been places such as the Columbia Station, Franklin Commons, University of Valley Forge campus, Phoenixville Country Club, and others as well.
Okay, good. You also have that little thing called First Fridays.
Right,
I
that
say
little
thing. I'm just being smart, but it's not so little. In fact, it's huge.
Yeah, yes.
Give us an idea.
Yeah, so
how that
that's an event that falls under the Phoenixville First umbrella. And actually, without Phoenixville First, that event would have probably ceased to exist when the Main Street Management Program kind of came to a close. And so First Fridays have grown from a few hundred, I'm sure, at the beginning. It was around 1,000 or maybe upwards of 2,000 people or so when we came together as Phoenixville First in 2011. And now we're at anywhere between 4 and 9,000 probably, I would say, a month
Really?
of people. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a very positive little economic jolt for a lot of downtown businesses we see. And also just, you know, an opportunity for people to come out. They could not have a dollar in their pocket and
Right.
just experience the community, be
Just
entertained by
free
live music.
Live
Yeah.
music, right. Right.
You know, lots of places to window shop, places to sit down, and if you're able to have a drink or eat or shop in some of the great boutiques that we have, that's just an added bonus.
Mm-hmm. And that First Friday runs, obviously, First Friday of every month, from when to when?
So First Friday is celebrated every first Friday of every month,
All
year
year
round.
Yeah. Well, you stole my line. So
sorry.
I was going to say,
Sorry.
is it May to October?
Yeah,
The
so May to
formal First
October.
Friday.
Yeah, it's the outdoor
Okay.
season, as we call it.
Actually, you stole Jean's line the other night. We were talking about the other day, and Jean said, but they can come every First
Yeah,
Friday of
exactly.
every month.
Exactly. We certainly welcome that. And actually, the Phoenix Village Art Center was
The Phoenixville?
the Phoenix Village Art Center.
Oh, Village Arts Center.
Yeah, they were really who suggested that this event was, you know, something that should take place. They have a gallery opening every first Friday of every month, so you can always get a bit of culture that way.
Right there,
and of course,
right there on Bridge Street.
Right there on Bridge Street, 200 block of Bridge, and surrounded by great restaurants, awesome shops, really unique stuff. So, you know, that's again an added benefit. But the outdoor music, live music that we have is May to October, and there's also vending opportunities available. If you're a nonprofit or if you're a handmade crafter, even for-profit businesses in the Phoenixville region, they can set up a table there to build some exposure for their business, which is cool.
Great, great. Jim, as Borough Council, or from your perch as Council President, can you talk a little bit about what you observe as far as the cooperation and the coordination, and there's another C, collaboration between the borough and the chamber and those other agencies?
I can. I mean, 5 years ago, I wasn't on Borough Council. I was sitting in some of the chairs as far as sitting on the board for the chamber, and there wasn't great communication by and among all the different entities in Phoenixville.
There was not.
There was not. And in fact, there was probably some animosity in the sense that, to some of the points that you named earlier, one organization wanted to protect this as their own, and another organization wanted to protect that as their own. And I really got to give credit to where credit's due, to Jean and to Jessica and to the other leaders in those organizations. Over the last 5 years, they've come together, and really to the benefit of not only their organizations and their members, but to the whole Phoenixville community, and the fact that we now have these programs, we now have these events, and it doesn't cost the taxpayers a lot of money. We're not putting a lot of tax dollars back into them. We do put some, but a lot of this is generated by the organizations themselves, which is just amazing. It really is to me, from my perspective.
I just thought of this, and this might be a fastball to you, any of the two of you, or maybe you too, Jim. Does the borough have not the borough government, but is there a website with a calendar associated? Maybe it is borough government. I don't know.
So the chamber built a new website that has a community calendar. So we
Okay,
certainly
that's what I'm
feature all
getting
those
at,
events,
yeah.
and actually hundreds more. There've been
Okay.
in a year, there've been over 350 added to that.
Okay.
But we are actually currently building out a website that's called PhoenixvilleFirst.com, which has been promoted on event cards that we create for each
Okay.
year. And that will have a list of some of the things, you know, that are going on in the borough that
Okay,
we consider.
stop for a
community.
second. Let's
Yeah.
people grab your pen and pencil. It's PhoenixvilleFirst.com. And what's the chamber's website?
PhoenixvilleChamber.org.
Easy enough. And then the borough's website, Jim or Jean?
Phoenixville.org.
Phoenixville.org. Okay. So, folks, please scribble those websites down. Mark them as your favorites. Get on. There's calendars. Are borough meetings on the calendar?
The borough has
Public meetings, of course. Yeah.
We share the information back and forth amongst us, so that there's a lot of duplicative entries, but
Okay.
you know, that's okay.
That's
because
okay.
when you type in Phoenixville, you're going to get one of the three of those
Good.
websites, and in there is going to be the calendar of events.
Great. Well, thanks, guys. We're up against it. While you have your pen and pencils, you're writing down another website, www.owmlaw.com. Jessica from the Chamber, thanks for joining us, Phoenixville Chamber.
pleasure.
Jean from the Borough Manager, thanks
Thank you.
for joining us.
Thank
Jim,
you.
thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Folks, you've been watching Legal Talk, brought to you by O'Donnell Weiss Mattei Law Offices, www.owmlaw.com, your life, your business, your law firm. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again hopefully soon. Take care. Have a great night.